That's my face. I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning.
As a young boy, all Billy C dreamed about was one day having his own catchphrase.
And we're back. And we're back.
One boy, one dream, one day, everyone will say.
And we're back. 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 And we're back.
Catchphrase coming soon to a theater near you.
Yeah, we're back. You're watching the Billy C's post-fight show, Mayweather Guerrero, right here on Fight Now TV and now on BillyCBoxing.com. And thanks for all the support. Thanks for all the support in the chat room. You know, you guys are so kind. You know, we kicked off the. It's the Mayweather. It's the Mayweather curse, man. You know, every time he does good, I fall apart, I guess. But look good tonight. Call in if you want. The phone line is open now that you can see and hear us. 845-228-8710. I started off saying that. I thought that the J. Leon Love fight and the Gabe Rosado fight, I had Rosado winning that fight. I think the fight was close. I don't think anybody should be crying robbery or anything like that. But I personally scored the fight 95-94 in favor of Rosado. I thought he did enough to win. As far as the rest of the card, Leo Santa Cruz and Alexander Munoz, wasn't too competitive. If you like watching one guy batter another one, like literally lifting him off his feet with every punch he threw, it was just a size thing. And did you catch the corner of Munoz? It was I believe after the fourth round. He was telling his corner he wanted to quit, and his corner kind of talked him into going out there in the fifth round. And when he got in trouble, I was glad to see that the corner did step in and save him. But anyway, Dax Khan is on the line. What'd you think, man?
Hey, you got hats off to Mayweather. He showed a whole different version of himself tonight. He didn't lay on the ropes like we thought he was going to try to. The footwork is what was very impressive, especially after all this time off. There's no way you can take that away from him. Yeah, no,
I his speed was too much for Guerrero, and his accuracy was fantastic. He did some veteran moves, holding Guerrero's left hand as much as he did. And my only knock on him, if I could find one thing to knock on him, is the fact that he only threw one punch at a time, really. Very rarely did he throw multi-punch combinations, but he didn't have to. He scored enough, and he did what he did. I think that's what you're going to see for the rest of the fights with Floyd Mayweather, exactly what we saw tonight.
You know what he reminded me of a little bit, and I was saying this during the fight, was he reminded me a little bit of Roy Jones, the way he was just doing that one punch. He was moving around, and then, as soon as that opening came, he was throwing that one-punch shot. Unfortunately, he didn't have the power that Roy Jones did at super middleweight when Roy was able to get off like that and stop Guerrero. But he definitely fought a great fight, very impressive. I'm very disappointed that Robert just could not stop getting hit by that straight right hand, because that really was, and no pun intended, that was Floyd's money punch of the night.
Well, listen, for every time, Robert tried, but what happened was Floyd's speed and the ability for him to dart in and dart out. By the time Robert got ready to let his punch go, Floyd was gone. You got to give credit to Floyd. My only, like I said, my only hang-up is, I think Floyd would be able to knock more fighters out if he threw more punches. I don't think he's got one punch knockout power, whether you see the punch or not. And I think that if he would have stood in the pocket just a little more, I really didn't think that the Ghost was showing him any danger, But hey, it was a one-sided fight. I had it exactly the way the judges saw it. We saw a well-judged fight, a well-refereed fight. Hats off to Robert Byrd for letting him fight inside. Really, there's no complaints. I don't think I don't think Floyd Mayweather fans should say, "Oh, see, he's great, he's the best, he's this and that." Listen, he dismantled the Ghost, and he looked good. End of story.
What made me laugh about him was, every time he went back to his corner, not every time, but, how many times did he go back to his corner and complain how he was getting rabbit punched? And, I think there was one time he complained where he got an elbow or something like that, but, I forget what round it was, maybe the sixth or something like that. He just blatantly pushed Robert Guerrero. I mean, he just shoved him right in the middle of the ring. That's my only knock on him, where it's okay for me to do, but it's not okay for you to do. It was in the third round. I have it written down. So that's my only knock on him. But I'll tell you what, my man of the night was Leo Santa Cruz. How impressive was that kid?
He looked good. I wish that they would have given him a bigger guy. I mean, I didn't realize until I was doing the breakdowns yesterday that Munoz was, moving up from the flyweight division over the last couple of years. So, I think I love Leo Santa Cruz. I love him. I would have just liked to have seen him fight a bigger guy, but he did what he had to do. And so did Abner Maris. I thought Ponce de Leon looked a little flat, but how about that stoppage? Did you think it was too soon?
Yeah, that was too soon. Paulie Malignaggi, who, I don't know, the more he's an announcer, the more he kind of grows on me. If he would just slow down a little bit. The only guy I know that might talk faster than me. He made a great point when he said that, Ponce de Leon did have his eyes on Mares. He did have his hands up. He was throwing punches back. And, Jay maybe stepped in kind of quick, and Ponce de Leon, that's a world champion. You don't do that in a world title fight. So it was a little bit quick. It was a little bit, I don't know, who's the one over there that used to stop the fights? Who's the one who stopped the fights real quick? It's 1:15 in the morning. I can't remember. Richard Steele. It was a little Richard Steele-like, but, I think anyway it didn't matter because, I think Maris, it was just a matter of time anyway.
Yeah, well, like I said, Floyd's fight was, I guess, the best fight of the night. I mean, on paper, all these fights looked like they were going to be great fights. I thought the first fight was great. I said to myself, man, we're in for a great night of fights. And then the other ones, just the best way I can describe them was anticlimactic. That's all I can say. Like I said, I think Floyd looked good, but it's hard to use the word exciting. I don't know. Let
me just interrupt you real quick, because if my eyes might be deceiving me here in the chat room, that Tony T, I don't know. He can type in there if it is. Is that our Tony Troon that just entered the chat room? I've never seen him there before.
I'm sure he can figure out how to get in there, but
I've just never seen him in there before.
It could be. Well, so what's your final thoughts, Dax? I'm going to keep the lines open. We got.
I thought it was good. I do not think that this version of Floyd Mayweather, though, would be smart for him to sign with the version of Canelo Alvarez that fought Austin Trout at this point in time. Because I just think he, unlike Robert Guerrero, Alvarez won't let him get out of the corner. He'll bully him. But Floyd Mayweather, one thing did tell me something with the fact that he is using his footwork a lot more, tells me that, he's compensating for something else and the age is catching up with him a little bit. But, it's a great performance. You can't take nothing away from him. But please, Showtime, stop reducing yourselves to the HBO broadcast stuff. Stop being a cheerleader. Stop talking about how great Floyd is. Stop talking about how you were in the dressing room. He had unimpressive-looking boxer shorts. Where can you buy yourself some? Stop talking about Floyd did hard time in prison. And, I'm going to say it now, and I'm going to make a lot of people, actually, I can piss a lot of people off. It's 1:15. I can say the PISS word. Andre Ward is the top man in the sport right now.
Yeah, well, I don't know. We got to change the rankings. He's been inactive, and Floyd, I think he moves back to pound for pound reluctantly, but in my opinion, but he looked good tonight, so we can't say.
It looked good tonight. It was a great fight. We got to give it up for Floyd. Give him his credit, but we'll see what happens next time out. But you know what? The fact that he is able to adapt to his change, it wasn't the same old from Floyd. Got to give him the credit, and you got to give Robert the Ghost Guerrero credit because he never faltered, he never lost any determination, and he kept going at it. And look for him to be back. This isn't the end of Robert the Ghost Guerrero, and by far he's not ordinary.
All right, brother. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, talk to you all during the week. Have a good night, everybody.
That's Dax Khan. You can catch him on Thursdays. And right on the Talking Boxing with Billy C show. The phone lines are open. Give us a call, 845-228-8710. I gave him credit. You're joining us a little late. I got somebody, Billy C's got to give him props. Yeah, I gave him props. He looked good. His speed was too much for Robert the Ghost Guerrero. He, of course, is Floyd Mayweather Jr. I thought he was pinpoint accurate with his punches. He looked sharp. His defense was sharp, looked good. I think Robert the Ghost Guerrero just couldn't hit him. You got to give props to Floyd. But like I always say, Floyd is a guy that takes very little chances, and he didn't take any chances tonight, and he didn't have to. He came out. I don't think I had a scratch on him. Alex Papali joins us, and I think you pretty much called it the way it happened. You said it was going to be exciting a little bit in the first couple of rounds, and then it was going to shift into Floyd Mayweather repeat that he always does, and that's what happened, man.
Yeah, I'm kind of sorry to be right, but
I know. It's funny. It's almost funny.
I'd be surprised. I'd be shocked if Guerrero won 4 rounds. Personally, I don't think I would have given him more than 2, but the officials gave him 3. That's nice when you have all 3 agree like that on the score.
Hey, speaking of all 3, hey, Alex, speaking of all 3, we got me, you, and I believe Tony Treem is on the line, too. Are all 3 of us on?
I'm on the line.
All right.
Hey, nice.
All right. Yeah. Hey, we're learning things every day. I just learned this thing. Like when you want to broadcast your stream, you got to click the button that says broadcast. Everybody's telling me, we don't see it. Where is it? Because I didn't hit the button. So, Alex pretty much hit it on the head, Tony. He said yesterday or the day before when he gave his official predictions, he said it was going to start off a little exciting, and then it was going to shift into exact Floyd Mayweather type show, and that's what I saw here. How about you in Vegas? What'd you see?
Well, I hate to admit it, I miscalled it 100%. Bill, as you know, I thought the Ghost was going to do better than he did, and I want Mayweather whipped so bad I can't stand it, and I thought the Ghost might have been able to do it, and he just didn't do it. And Alex was 100% correct. I scored at 116-112 Mayweather.
What happened to the Ghost? How come he didn't? He did have some success to the body, Tony, and Bill. And you were right. He was going to the body. He just didn't keep it up.
Yeah, he wasn't because Floyd wasn't there. He every time he went to deliver a punch, Floyd was gone. Floyd, you got to give Floyd credit. I mean, a lot of us don't like to see. Dax made a point earlier, and my thing is that you're not going to be able to. Let's see if we could do this. Are you on too now, Scotty?
I'm here.
How about you, Tony? You still on?
I'm on.
And you too, Alex?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, my goodness. It's a plethora of people all on the line at the same time.
Oh, my God, it's a barrel of money.
It is. It's a barrel of fun. Go ahead, Scotty. Tell us what you thought of the fight.
I thought it was a one-sided fight for Mayweather. I thought he fought a fantastic fight. I thought he stood in front of Guerrero most of the fight and fought flat-footed, which I think would surprise some people. Whether he has to do that at his age or whether he chooses to do that, I'm not sure. But he fought a fantastic fight. He was fast. His defense was superb. He made Guerrero miss a lot of shots, and he picked him apart. The only The only complaint I have is that Mayweather throws one punch at a time.
Exactly.
He's not a combination puncher. But if he can get it done with one punch at a time, then, who needs a combination?
I agree with you. I think that's the only issue that I have. I was just getting so frustrated watching him only throw that one punch and then, run away on his bike. But, the punches that he was landing were significant. They weren't just little Paulie Malignaggi punches, they were significant punches, and all you had to do was look at Robert Guerrero's face, and you could tell that they were doing some damage, To Alex, you had mentioned about the...
Scott brings up a good point there, Bill, is that we still don't quite know the answer to this, but and that was one of the things we wanted to know was, is Floyd fighting in this style because he wants to or because he has to? Because he has slowed down a bit. It sure didn't look like he did.
No, I agree.
Guerrero never kept pressuring him.
He didn't look like he was slowed down in any way, shape, or form. He was not huffing or puffing. He never once gave me... I did not think once that he was aging or anything like that. I think that this is his way. When he says, I'm fighting exciting fights, I think this is his way of showing us excitement. That's his way. I like Scotty. I said the same thing. I would have just liked to have seen him throw more punches. That's my only hang-up,
Yeah,
Bill,
go
ahead. As bad as I hate Mayweather, and as much as I want to see him lose, this is one of the better fights he's fought, in my opinion, tonight. I mean, he wasn't on his bicycle all night. He did stand and fight. He didn't lay on the ropes. He didn't stay in the corner. He stayed pretty much in the center of the ring. Like Scotty and Alex said, he only threw one punch at a time, and I agree with that. And I would have liked to see him do more, but he did fight a good fight.
Yeah, no, there's no question about that. And Alex, you had said about the body work and that Robert Guerrero appeared that, that was part of his game plan. But I think that he forgot the game plan. He really didn't try to work in the body in the beginning of the fight. He went to it a little too late. I thought he should have put more emphasis on it. And another thing I noticed about Robert Guerrero, maybe it was me, but it didn't seem like there was anything behind his punches. I mean, he just seemed like... He has no power, he wasn't trying to hurt it. There was no bad intentions behind any punches he threw. At least I didn't notice any. What do you guys think?
No, he didn't have any. He didn't have any punches with bad intention behind him. The Ghost got taken out of his game plan real early in the fight, and he never could get back in it. Although I give him credit for having the heart to stay in there and finish the fight, but he was way outmatched tonight.
Yeah, well...
Yeah, and I think he fell into that same mold, that same role that a lot of guys, everyone who fights Floyd falls into, especially, at these weights, these, welterweight and, 140, we were seeing the same thing, where he has this absolutely brutal economy where there are not many shots, but he only does it maybe with 3 or 4 real jolting blows around, power punches. He doesn't throw many jabs. He'll catch you with a counter you did not see, and he'll make a guy hesitate. And Paulie Malignaggi, I think, said it very well. He said, the rest of the fight, you're fighting it with your hands in your pockets because you know if you press things, you might end up on your ass.
Yeah, he definitely had Robert confused a little bit, and you got to give him credit. Like I said, my knock is that he only throws one punch and gets the hell out of Dodge, and then does it again. And some people like that.
Wins fights.
Well, they call that the sweet science. Is that what they define it? See, if he takes just a little more chance, and by the 10th round. It was pretty, to me, it seemed like there was no way Robert, now I wasn't taking any of his punches, but it seemed like no way was he going to hurt Floyd. So at that point, why doesn't Floyd step on the gas, and close the show? I don't know. Who do you guys think is next for him?
I don't.
Go ahead, Scotty.
Go ahead.
I don't know if anyone heard the post-fight interviews or not, but he told Jim Gray he hurt his hand. He said he wanted to go for the knockout, but he injured his right hand. It was swollen. He took it out of the glove. He never said he thought it was broken, but he said he hurt it. And he really couldn't go for the knockout like he said he wanted to. So whether that's the reason why or not, I'm not sure. But if his hand is injured, then maybe that's a reason why. He just wants to finish the fight and maybe worry about the knockout next time.
I'm not so sure about the injury. He did say,
he never quit throwing that right.
Exactly. I was just going to say the same thing, Tony. His hand was swollen. He says, it's swollen. I'm not saying it's broken or anything. It's swollen. His hands they always swell. Even the other hand looks swollen. And even, Jim Gray says, what hand? He says, my right hand. He says, you were landing right hands all night. He never really stopped. I don't think Floyd has one-punch knockout power. I just don't. And I think the only way knockouts are going to come for Floyd Mayweather is accumulation punches. And, if he's going to fight these guys like he did tonight, that we're going to get exactly what we saw, exactly what Alex predicted. And my question now to all three of you guys is, what's next for Floyd? I mean, realistically, we were going over the list of fighters and all a couple of other names that we could throw out there that belong to Top Rank. You just cross them right off the list, and the pool of fighters all of a sudden becomes very small. And of course, everybody's going to be saying Saul Alvarez. I don't think we see anything different against Saul Alvarez than what we saw tonight. What do you guys think?
Right, I think that's what we're going to see more from him is why not? Or why not see this? He made $32 million. These are, Mayweather makes mega events. He doesn't make mega fights. This is his style. If you don't have to like it, he's proficient. He wins. He keeps winning. There's a core group of people that come out to see it. When he fights a Mexican, you double that audience because you have a loyal following in the Mexican heritage. I think the Canelo fight is definitely one that they'll make. But you're right. Is it a challenge for Floyd? I don't see it. So I see the same kind of thing happen. Maybe Canelo has moments, a few more moments because of his size, but Mayweather's that good. I think like we saw with Guillermo Rigondeaux a couple of weeks ago, that's what this performance showed us tonight, is that even though this guy fights once a year, he's still the top of his game, and there's really no one that can touch him or that can even make an exciting fight around his weight class.
It's funny. We hang up on, especially Scotty. I think I've hung up on Scotty more times than anyone. And right now, I'm playing around with the new phone system here. And there's like a bunch of us. Yeah, I know. We just got LDL TV on the line too, right?
Dawn, are you there?
Oh, we got my dream girl. All right.
Baby. How are
you? Good. We got my dream girl, Dawn. We got LDL TV. We got Scotty. We got Tony. We got Alex P. What do you think of the fight, Dawn?
Pardon?
I said, what did you think of the fight?
Which one?
The fight, the Mayweather Guerrero fight. What's your thoughts? Did you watch it? She didn't even watch it, did she, John? We lost John? I guess we lost them. Anyway, you guys, let's talk about Alvarez. What's the deal? You think that's the next fight or what?
I hope it is, but the way he locks his knees when he throws those punches, I think that would be an advantage to Mayweather, and I think he'd drop him and beat him. It would be a more exciting fight as far as being knockdowns happening than it was tonight, because he couldn't floor the Ghost, and I think he could floor Alvarez.
Do you think
because he locks his knees?
Scotty,
he throws those punches. I don't know if you noticed that or not, but I noticed that in every one of his fights. he locks those knees every time he gets ready to throw punches.
Yeah, I know he's got a. I noticed that a while ago. He's got a weird stance when he delivers his punches. But Scotty, let me ask you: do you think that Alvarez can catch up with Floyd? Do you think that he would be able to land a power shot flush? Robert the Ghost Guerrero was not able to do that tonight.
Well, you got to figure if they fight, it'll probably be a 154, where Floyd's only had 2 fights. And, you might say the 2 closest fights that he's had since way back against Castillo. So, 154, he's fighting a guy that's big, strong, much younger, and, has a lot of talent and a lot of potential, and is still learning. I think if Floyd's going to fight Canelo, he's better off doing it sooner rather than waiting. He supposedly has 5 more fights for Showtime. I wouldn't wait to number 5 to do it. I would, I don't think it's going to be September. I think for Canelo, you want from September to May. Maybe next May, next Cinco de Mayo, that would be the time to fight him. I don't think it'll be September. I'm guessing possibly Amir Khan in England in September. That's a possibility. But Canelo, I think if he's going to fight him, he better catch him soon, because if he waits too much longer, then he's going to be 37 and 38, and those reflexes are only going to get slower. They're not going to get any better. And, at some point, he is going to slow down. I don't know when it will be, but he's better off getting that fight earlier, in my opinion, than waiting to the end of this Showtime deal to do it.
Yeah, but the whole thing is, and Tony, what's your thoughts real quick? The whole thing is this. Yeah, I agree with you, Scott. If we're all going to help Floyd take the easiest road for the next 5 fights, then I too would go fight Amir Khan, because I can't see that even being a competitive fight. Floyd will knock out Amir Khan. I mean
that won't last. That won't last 6 rounds.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand. I mean, are we trying to is he just going to go through the motions? Are we all set to accept him fighting 5 more times against whoever? And that's it.
There?
Well, exactly. Who else is there? Try to come up with 5 big fights. I mean, you're going to have. I mean, you saw the heavyweight champion of the world fight a complete stiff today. You have guys like that on your record. Every great fighter in history does. Floyd Mayweather can't fight, 5 elite fighters. He's going to fight good fighters who are around his weight class, and pick and choose the right time for the biggest showdown with the big names. To me, fighting Canelo Alvarez next May makes more sense than trying to fight him in September. You get a longer promotion. That's the big fight. That's the fight that'll probably be the most money. So why not do it then? I don't think that's avoiding anything tough. I think that's just being smart and fighting him at the right time. As far as Amir Khan, I disagree. I don't think it's a non-competitive fight because of the different styles. Floyd, you just said yourself, Floyd's not going to knock anyone out with one punch.
I think he's going to knock
Amir Khan at least has the legs to move around the ring. He's not going to be right there like Robert Guerrero to get hit. He'll at least be able to move. He's still got very fast hands, throws combinations. I don't think in any way he beats Floyd, don't get me wrong. But I think it's a more competitive fight than what we had tonight.
I think he's got.
I think Scott's right, and I think the other thing about it, Bill, and this is the part that is really, and I think we really got caught up with. A lot of us got caught up in it, and it's hard not to when you have a network so in the pocket of the fighter in this way. It's a manufactured event to a great degree. I mean, let's think about this. The sort of triangulation of these fighters that gave the credibility to Robert Guerrero, it went through, talk about 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. This was 6 degrees of Andre Berto, who's not a great fighter. It was Andre Berto, Victor Ortiz, and Robert Guerrero. I mean, that's how much better Floyd is than these guys. Yes, Canelo is probably the only one that's close. And I think, like Scott was saying, this is in certain weight divisions, that's what you got. You got it today, too, with the heavyweight, with Vladimir Klitschko. There's a gulf of of talent between the guy who's at the top and even the guys that are then world ranked just slightly below him. And unfortunately, the thing about the Amir Khan fight, there's a built-in audience, and that's what Floyd likes, is mega events. The Khan fight, even though it's a walkover in terms of skills, it's an event in terms of you could make some storylines, and it'll sell.
Well,
okay, Scotty, and Alex, and Billy, you chime in on this too. Do you guys really think that Alvarez has a chance against Mayweather, whether he fights in September or next May?
A year from now, maybe. A year from now, perhaps. And I think the size is one thing, and I think also a year from now, Floyd's going to be that much older, but we see that this guy, he lives in the gym.
Floyd will eat up Alvarez. Alvarez is he's too stationary. Listen, you know the only fight really, to me, Floyd doesn't have anything left to prove. I think I mean that. I think that the only guy I actually would have a little bit of interest in seeing, which will never happen because he's with the rival promoter, and that's Timothy Bradley. You know, I mean, really, you know, Scotty.
Cheer Bradley up, Bill.
Well, Bradley's got some heart, and I don't know if he stops him. You know, this whole Amir Khan thing, I agree with myself. I don't think that Floyd can knock anybody out, but I do think he can knock out Amir Khan. I think Amir Khan's weak chin will put him in a position to. I think Floyd looks really good. I think Floyd looks really good against Amir Khan, to be honest with you, if they fight.
Oh, yeah.
Well, like I said, I will differ with you there. I think it's a different style of fight completely than what we've seen against Guerrero and Cotto and even Ortiz. I think Amir Khan, we all agree Amir Khan's biggest Achilles heel is his chin. I mean, we know that. He gets hit, he goes down. But I don't think that Floyd is the kind of puncher that's going to just knock him out. I think Khan will use his legs. He's still got a lot of movement, ability to move around the ring laterally. He's got super fast hands. That's something that the last few guys that Floyd has fought don't have. He throws a lot of punches, combinations, and I think that, maybe he hits the canvas like he did against Julio Diaz, but I don't think it's an 11 rounds to 1 decision for Floyd. You know, I think he does better than Robert Guerrero did. Now, maybe does he do 1 round better, 2 rounds better? I don't know. But let's go back and ask the question. All right, Solo Alvarez is probably the biggest fight promotionally, financially for Floyd, and you think that's a walkover for Floyd. So who does Floyd fight for the next 5 fights? So who does he fight that you and others will pat him on the back and say, hey, this is a tough fight. Hey, congratulations for taking this fight. I just don't think there's anybody that's near his level. It's at that point right now where there just isn't anyone out there that's near his level. In Canelo Alvarez, you have a young, undefeated phenom who will sell lots of tickets. Whether it's a walkover or not, like Alex said, it doesn't matter. It's an event. And I think Amir Khan, I think that's an event. I think Floyd understands right now there's not this one or two fighters out there that the world is demanding. The Pacquiao thing is past. There's not that fighter that everyone says you have to beat this guy in order to claim your status as the best fighter in the world. They don't exist. So what does Floyd do for the rest of his career? Well, he retires one, or he keeps fighting. If he keeps fighting, he's going to fight guys like Guerrero, like Khan, like a Devin Alexander, which was talked about a little bit earlier. He's going to come up with the opponents. They're going to be big events because that's what Floyd does. And, whether they're challenges or not, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, well, I agree. There are events, So is the Chevy sale when you're looking to buy new cars and stuff.
Come on, Bill. He was impressive. You got to admit, he was very impressive.
Listen.
Not Meldrick Taylor. You're right. He's not Meldrick Taylor, though. I mean, he does box beautifully.
He was great.
That's why I can't help but compare him a little bit to Rigondeaux. Although I think Rigondeaux, of course, is even more impressive. His reflexes are quicker, and he was even more impressive a couple weeks ago. But I do think he's similar in that these guys don't stand there and just wing shots and throw flurries. They're big counterpunchers, and it is a skill and it is amazing. But I hear you. It's not chiller theater.
Well, I do think that the Amir Khan fight will happen. They were talking about a big show in England. He never fought in England. Floyd didn't. So you're probably right. That's probably the next one. Listen, he looked good tonight. I said I would give him credit. I am going to give him credit because I feel he did fight the toughest guy that's, within who they're going to fight. They're not going to fight anybody from Top Rank. If he went back down to junior welterweight and took a guy like Danny Garcia or Amir Khan or even Matisse or even Lamont Peterson, you got to give him credit there with the weight, but then people are going to say, oh, well, he's too big, and I guess Sergio Martinez is still out of the question. So I don't know, man. I don't know. All I know is he looked good tonight. He didn't look like he was old. He controlled the action. He did what he wanted. My only hang-up is that I wish that he would throw more than one punch. That's all. But, hey, let's talk about the Jalen Love and Gabe Rosado fight. I don't know what all the hubbub is about Jalen Love. I see a very ordinary fighter. And to be honest with you, I actually had Gabe Rosado ahead of him. I had him winning. What do you guys think?
I thought Love got a token win tonight.
Oh yeah. John, I got you on the line. John, are you on the line with us?
Yeah, I'm on here with Rick Glazier, your boxing executive. He's the boxing Hall of Famer from Buffalo, New York. He's on. Rick, you there?
Well, I guess not. But what did you think of the Gabe Rosado fight, Tony? You thought that Love got a gift? I scored it.
Absolutely.
I scored it. I thought it was close. I don't think we can call it a robbery. What'd you think of that one, Scott?
That was a pretty good fight. I didn't score the fight. I had a bunch of people over. We were enjoying ourselves watching the fights. I didn't score it. I got the impression at the end of the fight that it was pretty close. Of course, Rosado scored the knockdown, and I thought landed the harder shots. So at the end of the fight, I figured if it went 1 point either way, I'd be okay. The one judge that had it, 5 points for Love, obviously wasn't paying attention, but I thought that as long as it was a point either way, that it was legitimate. Again, that's without officially sitting down and scoring every round.
Alex, the score 97-92. That's when people are going to start to say, "Oh, it's a robbery," because you see that one out of whack judge. I think the same thing. You look at the Floyd fight; everybody scores it the same, and it really there's no problem there. Do you think when the one judge is out of whack, and that's when people start crying over it?
Oh yeah, and we've been seeing that sporadically over the last couple months, where one judge seems to be a little out of whack. One of them out of whack last weekend in what was it? I forget if it was the Judah fight or the Martinez fight, where one was a little wider than the others. The Stanley Christodoulou card a couple weeks ago, or maybe that was.
Hey Billy, I think I got Rick in with us now. Rick, are you there?
Yes, gentlemen. How are you this evening?
Beautiful,
Rick.
We're just with Billy C.
We're just talking about the. Good, Rick. We're just talking about the Jalen Love and Rosado fight. We all feel that it was a close fight. I actually thought Rosado won, but I just Alex was making a point that when you have the judge, that one judge scoring 97-92, that's when people are going to start saying robbery, because it was out of whack. What do you think?
I tend to agree with you. I mean, how can you have a fight that was as close as that one was, and have one guy 97-92? I mean, it just doesn't. It fathoms the imagination. I mean, it was
in a 10-round fight with a knockdown.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I mean, when push comes to shove, the way it worked out for me was I had it 6 rounds apiece, but the knockdown was the difference. So I mean, that's how my scorecard came out.
Actually, it was a 10-round fight, but you had it 5 rounds.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
What do I think?
No, I had it. I watched them fight 12.
I have people ask me all the time about the scoring in boxing. Why this decision? Why that? And people scream corruption. It's not corruption. It's incompetence. And the worst part is, here's the bad part. The bad part is they let the same morons keep scoring. Gail Van Hoy in Texas is one example. I mean, the list goes on and on. And I mean, it always happens in the following states. And whenever they have a big fight in Michigan, you got some wacky scoring. They don't have a lot of big fights there, thank God. Okay, in Texas, always bad scoring. California, bad scoring. Nevada, bad scoring. Now, here's what my mystery is tonight. Okay, I just watched Mayweather completely dominate a fight. Okay, and I mean dominate. I gave the other guy one early round in the fight, Guerrero. And you know what? And I like Guerrero. I like everything he stands for. But guess what? How did they give him 3 rounds? What other 2 rounds did he possibly win in that fight that they gave him 3 rounds? And all 3 judges gave him 3 rounds. I mean, I watched a different fight. I watched a one-sided 119-109 fight, not a 117-111 fight. Did anybody else give him more than 1 round, or am I in dreamland here?
You're in dreamland. I scored it the same way, 117-111. I'll tell you the rounds. I'll just tell you the rounds I gave Guerrero. I gave him. This is just me. I gave him the 5th, I gave him the 7th, and I gave him the 9th. Those were the 3 rounds I gave him.
I think you're in dreamland. I agree with it's Rick, right? I agree with you. But I had it 119-109. I gave Guerrero round 2, which was a close round. I gave it to Guerrero. And let's put it this way. I had about 10 people over, and none of them agreed with me. Everybody I had here tonight thought it was a shutout. I'm the only one that gave him a round. I was surprised that all 3 judges actually found 3 rounds to give to Guerrero, because I thought it was an absolutely dominant performance. And even the round I gave Guerrero, I thought you could make a case for Floyd.
Guys, I want to tell you something. I want to tell you something that nobody realizes about Mayweather. When he's back on the ropes, he puts himself back there. He's not forced back there, because he can spin out any time he wants to, and he wants to be there.
The whole fight,
he
looks like he was in control the whole fight.
He did that all night.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And he's a ring general. And we haven't seen a ring general in this generation of fighting except for this guy. We've had no other ring generals that I can remember in this generation of fighter. And I mean, this goes back to the old days. I mean, of the Ray Robinsons, the Joe Lewises, Sugar Ray Leonard. He was a ring general. Larry Holmes was a ring general. I mean, those were ring generals, and this guy here is a ring general, and he knows everything about the science of the game. You're not going to teach him any tricks. The only thing a trainer can do with him is critique something that he's doing differently than he had been because of age at this point. Okay? Nobody's going to teach him anything. He's a self-motivated guy. They don't have to get him to train hard. He loves to train. And you know what? He's great. I mean, people always are rooting against him because he's like the devil. He's like the devil in the white suit. Okay? And he's got this undefeated record. That's the white suit. But at the same time, people root against him. And he's a special guy, in the ring. And the only thing that's going to beat him is like any other fighter, Father Time. As far as ability goes, there's not a person with boxing gloves on that are wearing boxing gloves presently today that will beat him. and that is anybody in the 40, 47, 54, or 160 class of fighter. Now, somebody might beat him because of size, but not because of ability.
Well, too bad he would never challenge himself to fight somebody like a Martinez or a Triple G or something. And I'm not saying that he wouldn't win, but he wouldn't even take the chance.
Billy, let me explain to everybody why those fights don't happen. Okay, I'm going to explain this to everybody. Because Mayweather is guaranteed $32 million tonight. When it's all said and done, he'll make $42 to $45 million by the time all the profits pour in. Okay? Now, he only had to pay Guerrero $3 million. Why is he going to give somebody 7, 8, 10, 12 million? Because the revenues aren't going to be any higher. And then he doesn't make any more money, and he's paying more money out.
Well, then that's I get it, and that's not rocket science. But the point is that the bottom line is, don't tell me you're the greatest fighter of all time when you don't challenge yourself like the great fighters of yesteryear. That's my hang-up.
When a guy says that, let me say something to you. He's a great self-promoter, obviously. He's a great self-promoter. He's a brilliant businessman. And he's a great fighter. He's the complete package. Now, did I say he was a nice guy, or did I say he's Mr. Wonderful? I never said that. And those words are not coming out of my mouth when referring to Floyd Mayweather Jr. But I will say, and where all the other intangibles are, great fighter, great businessman, and a great marketeer of himself, a great self-promoter, I think that he gets an A+ in all those three categories. Now, mind you, he has beaten great fighters in their respective weight classes. He beat the best of the lightweights in Jose Luis Castillo. I bet one was controversial. He beat the best 130-pounder besides himself, Diego Corrales, but the Corrales was considered a beast. I mean, he's beaten the best of the best. Okay, and you got to remember something. He is 36. Roy Jones got licked when he was 34. Larry Holmes got licked when he was 35. And you know what? This guy may surpass Father Time, just like Bernard Hopkins, because this guy truly knows how to fight. He's got a great chin. And in the meantime, he's ultra fast. Is he going to slow down? Is he going to lose that step? He's going to do that. But his fundamentals are much better than Roy Jones's ever was. And he has the ability to carry himself in the ring in a lot of different ways, whether it's inside, on the outside, inside. And he knows truly how to fight, and people don't give this guy enough credit. Okay, now would he definitely beat certain fighters? You know what? Until you step in the ring and they fight, you just never know. But my line was years ago. I had a fighter I was getting an opponent for. He was 22-0 with 20 knockouts, and it was against a guy 14-8 with couldn't punch with no chin. And I said to the manager of the 14-8 guy, it's a fair fight. The guy says, what's so fair about it? I said, both fighters will be wearing 8-ounce gloves.
Yeah, well, that's, and that's my hang-up. You mentioned guys like Larry Holmes and losing when they were 35, 34 and all this. Those kinds of guys, they took some pride and putting the money aside, because I agree with the business aspect. But hey, listen, he fought great tonight. There's no question about it. I give him props because I thought that Robert the Ghost Guerrero was a viable opponent. So I think that's great. Let me ask you guys this, Alex and Scott and Rick, Daniel Ponce de Leon and Abner Mares. I like Maris, and today he showed us some stuff that he didn't show us in his last few fights. He showed a little more boxing ability. What's your thoughts? Is this kid for real?
Guys, he's definitely for real, no question. But also, come on, Ponce de Leon has no balance whatsoever. Every time he looked like every time he threw a punch, it looked like a dog taking a piss on a fire hydrant. I mean, he had no balance whatsoever. I mean, he's so shot that it was just a payday for him because he had no shot going in, and it was a pretty one-sided fight, and it should be. Maris is the real deal. He's an excellent fighter. He's a nice kid, and there's nothing negative about Abner Maris whatsoever. There's no negativity. He's a classy kid. He's a great fighter. He's a good human being in every which way. He's loyal to his people, and he deserves everything he gets going forward. And and as far as Ponce de Leon, that's like selling your title because he had no shot to win that fight whatsoever.
Well,
Zero.
punches always get a chance, and he's talking rematch. I'm wondering if Scotty, do you think that they had a rematch clause in that deal or what? I mean, I kind of agree that the outcome would be the same if he fought Maris again. What do you think?
I don't know if there's a rematch clause, but I don't care to see a rematch. I don't think most people would. I think it seemed pretty clear. Mares was winning the fight, although interestingly, on the judges' scorecards, it seemed like at least two of the judges only had him up by a point. So it was close on the judges' scorecards. In my eyes, I thought Mares was ahead by several points. But it was interesting, even though he was winning the fight, and he was looking good, he was looking strong for moving up in weight. That was one of the question marks. Would he be able to handle the strength of a power fighter like Ponce de Leon? He looked pretty strong. He did box very, very well, but the whole right side of his face and neck and shoulder was all marked up, and the side of his face was a little swollen where Ponce was landing that hard left. And there were a couple times when it looked like Mares seemed to be slowing down from some of those big shots. When you have a puncher like Ponce de Leon, who, in spite of his awkwardness, and Rick's right. I mean, I look at this guy and I think he is so off balance.
His feet
telegraphs every punch, and yet look at his record. He's beaten some good fighters. I thought he beat Adrian Broner when he fought him. So a puncher like that will always have a chance. I thought Mares was winning. I thought he looked good, but I thought the fight was stopped prematurely. I thought Ponce was throwing punches when Jay Nady stepped in, and I'd like to have seen him just get a better opportunity than what Jay Nady got him, because his shot is a puncher shot, I mean, to knock him out. And he was throwing, and he was giving it all he got, and he was landing. Because you look at the whole right side of Mares, and it was marked up. The left side didn't have a strap.
Well, his style is definitely wild because his friggin' legs are not right, the way he stands and everything. And he's so wild with his punches that nothing really landed flush. Talk about swollen face. His face was pretty swollen at the end of the fight. And I don't know, was it that big of a feat for Abner Maris to move up? We're talking 4 pounds here. I mean,
that's a big, strong guy and a dangerous puncher.
Don't forget one thing, guys. 4 pounds in that amount of weight is very, very big. It's very, very big. I thought it was a good accomplishment beating him. I thought he looked as impressive as he could look. I thought it was a little premature, but I wouldn't call it. It was a little premature, but it wasn't a bad stop. It was like right in the middle.
I don't know, man. He was fighting.
I agree with Scott that I thought it was a bit of a quick stoppage, and what I was surprised and what always makes me think, well, maybe they stopped it okay, is if the fighter doesn't complain, and you got a real gutsy warrior like Daniel Ponce de Leon. He did not really complain much, so maybe he was feeling it. I thought Mares looked very good. I think Scott's right, though. I think that Mares is hittable, and unfortunately, I think there are. This is another one of those, and I think this is the most important fight in the sport that unfortunately is being stopped by the Cold War. Abner Mares versus Guillermo Rigondeaux. After watching that, I'd love to see that because I thought, I really thought Donaire has been exposed. I thought the most interesting fight in the sport was that we weren't going to see get made was Donaire versus Mares. Clearly, I was completely wrong. Mares versus Rigondeaux would be wow. I'd love to see it.
First of all, we're not going to see those fights, and I hate to talk about fights that we're never going to see.
We did it for 3 years. We did it with 3 years with Mayweather Pacquiao.
Yeah, well, unfortunately now they won't.
It was longer than that. But
they
that's
won't.
Beside the point.
But they won't fight.
I want to run something past you guys. Okay. Ponce de Leon is a warrior. Did I think he beat Broner? Yes, I did. He is a warrior, but you know what? I mean, his legs were more out of whack tonight than they ever have been, and he looked like a shot fighter to me. I mean, his balance was so bad. He just didn't have it. He never had his legs under him, even from the start of the fight, the first round on. And it was just like, I don't know. Another thing is, if I was involved.
Are you guys? Is Scotty still there?
I'm here, bro.
Oh man, we just. I thought I just lost the whole phone system, but we were hearing his thoughts on Daniel Ponce de Leon. But let's talk about Leo. I tell you what, let's change the subject. Let's talk about Leo Santa Cruz and Alexander Munoz. I thought that was a decent fight for Leo Santa Cruz, but at first I kind of thought that it was going to be a little more evenly matched, but Leo Santa Cruz, despite moving up in weight, wasn't really fighting a bigger guy tonight. Any thoughts? Are you guys there?
Yeah, I'm here, Bill. I was just waiting.
Go ahead.
For someone else to...
Yeah, I know. Don't worry.
Who wants to go ahead?
Go ahead, Scott. What do you think, man? Okay, Alex, what do you think? What do you think? All right, well, I'll tell you what.
Who are you picking?
I asked you both. Is somebody going to respond?
I thought he looked good. I thought you definitely could see in the first round that Santa Cruz was able to sting him and hurt him. I thought Munoz was going to give him a little bit more of a test than that. I was impressed. I thought Leo Santa Cruz looked really good. He's definitely somebody to watch. He had a great year last year, and I think that continues.
Yeah, I think so, Scott, and I think that, and I told all you guys this, that I thought Leo Santa Cruz should have gotten the Fighter of the Year award, and I love his style. You know, it makes for an exciting fight, but it probably won't make for a long career. What do you think?
I love the kid. I think he throws lots of punches, and you know what he does that is just such a breath of fresh air is he goes to the body repeatedly. That's what won him the fight tonight. He went to the body of Munoz. You could see those body punches taking their toll. Munoz is a tough guy. He is a guy that, he's had 4 losses. They're all against world champions, never been stopped before. And Leo Santa Cruz is a guy he doesn't have a lot of knockouts. If he knocks you out, it might be by accumulation because he throws so many punches. Tonight, he looked strong. He looked very, very impressive. And it all was because of the work that he put into the body. He just wore him down with the body punches and then was able to put him away and stop him in the middle of the fight.
Well, Alex, when these guys work the body and they do it early in the fight like Leo Santa Cruz did, it pays dividends. It was almost like when Robert Guerrero remembered to work the body, it was late in the fight, and I think they made a comment about that during the broadcast, and unless you're a devastating puncher, it may not be a smart move. What do you think?
Well, I think it always pays, but I think because I think even if you're not the biggest puncher, sometimes you could catch a guy just right when he's inhaling or something, and you might knock the wind out of him if you're lucky, or you hit him right on the solar plexus. The other thing that you're doing is you're hitting him in the belly, and you're making him think, okay, I don't like that. Let me block that one, and then you can set a trap and feint like you're going to the belly again and go to the head. We used to see Eric Morales do that a lot.
One thing that I wanted to ask you guys, and I know I know that it's going to sound like I'm beating a dead horse, but hey, I always do that. So, what happened to the commentating? Why can't they call a fight anymore without talking about the punch stats? I mean, was it my imagination, or tonight were we getting live stats as the punches were being thrown? I mean, I don't get it, man. Am I the only one that is totally uninterested in that? I mean, I don't mind looking at it after the round or even after the fight, but during the round, I mean, what do you think, Scott?
I noticed that as well. It's interesting. I noticed Al Bernstein pointing it out, and I remember thinking, well, what's that got to do with it? That doesn't dictate the winner. That doesn't dictate who's doing what. but I did think they did something right at least. You know, I'm not into all the punch stats in every round. Oh, here's what this guy's landed and blah, blah, blah. But one thing I think that they did appropriately was they were showing percentage. They showed the percentage of Floyd Mayweather shots landed. I thought it was an interesting point, and to me, this is what punch stats should be used for comparative basis. When they said Floyd typically lands 50% of his power shots, tonight he landed 60. To me, that's interesting. That tells you something. That doesn't tell you who wins the fight, but that tells you something about the fight, that Floyd was landing a higher percentage than normal of his punches, a higher percentage of power punches, and I think that's interesting. But as far as just sheer numbers, they did go to it far too often, and it bothers me.
Yeah, you know, Alex, we were talking about that with HBO. I mean, Lampley has just totally lost the ability to call a fight without the stats. But now we see Al Bernstein do it, and you know, this was like the third broadcast in a row where he's had an off night. I mean, and this was a guy that I thought never had an off night, you know, so I don't know. I mean, why can't these guys just call what's going on, you know, in front of us? Why do we have to base it all on the stats, which aren't even really true stats? It's subjective. It's somebody else's subjective opinion. I love when they say, Punch Stats Live shows that he landed 8 punches this round. And you're saying to yourself, what? I just saw him land 8 in that last flurry, you know? I don't get it.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, these guys, these networks, they listen to each other. So it certainly could be that maybe Showtime is saying, hey, look, HBO keeps doing, you know, they really push the stats. So when we do it, let's push the stats, you know. I don't know, you know, I can't account for, I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. But I think that Scott has a good point, because I think when you think about it, that's one of my favorite Joyce Carol Oates lines, is that every fight's a story. And I think that as a fight, you know, starts to unfold, different things, you know, become essential, and that's when the punch stat maybe illustrates that. That's when you should talk about it. And I think in this, Scott brings up a good point, because this is what you see with Mayweather. He has this amazing economy. He really doesn't waste punches, and the punch stat reflected that, and it reflects it to an extent that's much higher statistics that he's landing, much higher percentage than most fighters are even capable of doing. So that's when it does become a story and is worth talking about. But you're right, to incessantly give us numbers, sometimes, you know, without any kind of mention that these are subjective. It's just a waste.
Yeah, it just gets, you know, when the human element's taken out, then I'll go by it, like, you know, I'll listen to it as a stat. But right now, we're trusting some guy with a laptop or a counter, and we're believing, we're talking about what he thinks was a landed punch, and we all can agree that, you know, you see these 3 angles from 3 different judges, and you look at the same punch, and it looks like 3 different punches, you know. So, you know, what makes, you know, the old keeper of the button for the stats, the guy that becomes the stat? I don't know. Hey, real quick, before we start to wrap it up here, guys, Scotty, all in all, tonight, as a whole, the whole card, the pay-per-view card, what's your thoughts, man? Was it a good one? Was it a mediocre? Was it a letdown? What do you think?
I think it was a good card overall. I thought on paper going in, it looked really solid. I thought it had the potential to give us 4 very good fights, and I thought for the most part it lived up to its potential. I think the guys I had over all tended to agree and enjoy the card, and they're the fans. You know, they're the ones that it's for, and they all seem to enjoy it and agree that it was one of the better overall pay-per-view cards that we've seen in a long time. Every fight I thought was decent, and even though the Mayweather fight was a dominant fight for Mayweather, I wouldn't say it lacked entertainment value. Guerrero continued to press and try. He was very determined, even up until the very end, even when you knew he was losing badly. So I thought that it was a very, very good card, and Yeah, I gave it an 8.5 out of 10, though.
8.5 out of 10. What do you think, Alex?
I would echo most of that. I think that it was. I enjoyed it. I think most of the fights were pretty good. The only thing I think I would say about the main event is that it really should have been a little bit of buyer beware. There certainly was, to a great degree, the fight was manufactured. There was a lot of shows that they did. Just like the 24/7. They don't have that overbearing narration in the 24/7 in the Showtime shows, but still, it was clear that they were, making you believe this was a bigger fight, more competitive fight than it was, and that Guerrero's chances were much better. And I think if you bought into that, some of it's shame on you because, look at his record. When Michael Katsidis and Andre Berto are two of the best names on your record, you're not really ready for Floyd Mayweather. So some of that was, like I said, buyer beware. But overall, was it worth $70? No, but I would say at least 55.
Yeah.
Bill, I think in order to push this to a 9 or a 10 out of 10, they should have had one more fight, and that was Ruben Guerrero and Floyd Mayweather Sr. If they'd have topped off the night with the two of them, put on a pair of gloves, then I would have called it a perfect evening.
They were still going at it. Even Floyd had to control his dad, and you see his father said, okay, I'll be quiet. But, hey, guys, I appreciate the time, and we look forward to both you guys again on Wednesday, man. And, we're going to be back early for the next couple of weeks, but by June 1st, we're going to be switching to the new time, so we'll all enjoy that, all right?
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
All right, guys.
Good. Hey, have a good evening, Bill. Have a good evening, Alex, and talk to you next week.
All right, guys. Take care.
Guys.
Thanks a lot. That was Alex Papali and Scotty Krause, and you can catch both those guys on Wednesdays when we do our segments. Scotty does several segments with me. It's the Greatest Fight Series and a bunch of others. And then, of course, we have our Blast from the Past with Alex Papali. So, my overall thought of the card was that, I don't know. I'm not going to give it a 10. I'm not going to give it an 8. I thought that it was exciting. I thought watching Floyd with his accuracy was good. I thought it was fun to watch. I thought his defensive ability was. I love defense, and when you see a fighter trying to deliver a punch, and the fighter that he's trying to land the punch on is there 1 second, and then by the time the punch is delivered to where he wants it to be, the fighter's not there anymore. I like that. We saw it with Rigondeaux a couple weeks ago. We saw it with Floyd tonight. Floyd Mayweather is crisp. He's accurate with his punches. There's no question about that. And I think that he was definitely exciting. I thought he was definitely exciting to watch. So anyway, we got somebody on the line now. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, my name is Ahmed. I called before. I'm calling from D.C.
Hey, what's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing great.
What'd you think of the fight?
That was a pretty impressive performance for us, 36-year-old. But I was very disappointed with Guerrero. To me, when you're fighting a slick fighter like Floyd, you gotta take risks. You gotta eat punches, like Asolina Freitas did when he fought Casamayor. He took a lot of risks. Or when Giovanni Segura fought Ivan Calderon, they never stopped throwing, and they ate a lot of punches. I think that's what Floyd's opponents should do. They won't necessarily win, but that's their best chance.
Well,
instead of reacting to what he does.
I think he tried. I really do, and I hear what you're saying. But I think Guerrero tried. That was his game plan. I think and I'm not a big Floyd fan, but I think we got to give him credit because when the Ghost was trying to throw a punch, Floyd wasn't there anymore, and then he started becoming gun shy. He started trying to anticipate, should he waste that punch? Should he throw that punch? And once he starts thinking like that and overthinking, Floyd's got him. And I think that's what started to happen to the Ghost. He was trying all the way to the end, to the very last second, but. I think speed killed him, man. I think that's what it boiled down to, the sharp, crisp punching of Floyd. As much as it pains me to say, but
you're right.
That's what happened.
But it was disappointing to see Guerrero being a reactive fighter. The people who had success against Floyd, like Oscar did or Cotto did, they had a little success because they weren't reacting to him too much. They did at the end of the fight, but for the first 7-8 rounds, they weren't reacting. They were trying to establish, they were trying to be the generals in the ring. But Guerrero, from the early rounds, he was reacting to Floyd. He was trying to counter punch. That was a big mistake to do it against a much faster guy than you, to try to react to what he does. You're right. I don't think he would have won, but if he did better than Coro, then his stock will rise. But now that was a terrible showing. I don't think that his stock will rise, or people will say, when's he fighting again? Some people, some underdogs, when they do well in certain fights, like Judah did last week, his stock rose because he fought well. And Guerrero didn't do that. He was too reactive, and he was disappointing.
Yeah, good point. Good comparison with Judah too, by the way. One question for you: What do you think should be next for Floyd? Not what most likely will happen. What would you like to see? Who would you like to see Floyd fight next?
Peterson and TJ. Both of them. I'm not sure if they will beat Floyd, but at least it will be a very very entertaining fight.
Who would you like to? Who do you want to see fight?
Peterson.
Matisse. Yeah.
Or Peterson.
Oh yeah, Lamont Peterson. Yeah, I said that I had mentioned his name earlier, but he's got him and Matisse is fighting. So the winner of that fight, right?
Yeah, the winner of that fight should fight Floyd.
What'd you think of the Rosado Jalen Love fight?
I thought Rosado won, but I have no problem. When you're fighting against the house fighter, you should know better. Like Trout did against Canelo. It was a close fight, but he should have. They should have known better to not make it close. Mm-hmm. So I did have Rosado winning clearly, but I made the decision to not complain when a fight is close and gets robbed in the fight of the promoter. When he's against the house fighter.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. I had Rosado winning by 1 point, but when it's close,
everybody has Rosado winning by 1 or 2 points. Didn't see anybody have Love winning, but when the fight is that close, you can't blame Love. He can always blame himself. He should have stepped on the gas in the last 2 rounds, in my opinion.
I thought that Rosado had the best line at the end. Love says, "Oh, we'll have a rematch," and he says, and Rosado's like, "I'm looking for a world title shot. What do I need a rematch with you for? I won." I thought that was cool because he's right. What does he need to fight another small money fight for? But
and by the way, Rosado is a good example of an underdog having a good showing, and his stock will rise. Yes. Yeah, at least he didn't embarrass himself.
No,
so right. People will want to see him again. He will be back, in a good payday, but not Guerrero though. He was an embarrassment in my opinion.
Yeah, well, he definitely didn't live up to what I thought he was going to do. But hey, man, I appreciate the call, and I'm glad you're listening to the show, brother. Keep it up.
Thank you very much.
All right, have a good one. So we got the post-fight show wrapping up here. I could probably take one more caller. So I know John was trying to get us. So John, if you want to give us a shout back, you can try that. 845-228-8710. All in all, that the last caller from DC, he's disappointed in Robert the Ghost Guerrero. I thought that he did what he could, and he couldn't do much. But got my man John back on the phone. Sorry, it wasn't. I don't know what happened there. And then once I had multiple people on it, I guess I maxed out with all the people. But,
yeah, man, we lost Rick.
Oh, okay. Well, so what's your thoughts on the whole fight?
I don't know. Mayweather dominated start to finish. There was nothing, wasn't that, I don't know. JJ sat and watched and got excited, but I was not that excited. Mayweather dominated. He did what he had to do. Guerrero just couldn't get close enough, and it was not that great of a fight. I'm not happy I paid $75 for that fight.
Yeah, well, it showed Floyd being Floyd, and he did what he did. I thought the Rosado Love fight was entertaining, but the other guys were giving it an 8 out of 10. I don't know. I was impressed with Floyd because he was crisp and stuff, but the overall thing, like you, I don't know if it was worth 70 big ones.
No, it wasn't at all. But I keep hoping for that